So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and update on some of my painting projects. It's been a really weird few weeks, or week I suppose, of painting for me. Such a mixed bag, and bearing in mind I've been working on a number of projects and I haven't really continued with any of them through this period at all. But sometimes, you know, as we mentioned before on a couple of times on the Plastic Crack on a Monday night, sometimes you just sort of have to change what you're working on to keep your mojo going, and that's certainly what's happened for me. So first up, this is a unit that I've had in my collection unpainted for quite some time. They are brigade miniatures from America. Lovely sculpts. Riflemen. I was years ago going to turn them into my 95th, but I've already got more 95th than I probably need. And the fact they're American, I thought they'll be the 60th foot, which were I think they're called the Loyal Americans or something like that. Another rifle unit armed with the British rifle, wearing the green uniform but having red coats, cuffs and turnbacks and the collars and all sorts. Makes them stand out rather a lot, and I really like them. You may recognise, if you like your sharp movies, you may recognise this character in the front rank, just leading them along. Or maybe he should be behind, telling them what they should be doing and cutting down any of the stragglers. Not that there'll be stragglers because they're 95th. Well, no, sorry. Not that there'll be stragglers because they're 60th and they're British riflemen. But there you go. Lovely unit. Really pleased to get them done and out of the pile of opportunity, shall we say. So one extreme to another. I've talked about my desire to do O Group, Second World War, with the Victrix 12mm figures. And to that end, I bought over a few weeks, a few months actually, a number of bags of Victrix 12mm figures. And I made a start this week on painting some of them up. Well, the armour anyway. So I've delved into the American boxes, and I've just realised I haven't done all the... you can notice some of them haven't got the Dowcowers on the front of the tanks. Anyway, so this is 2 bags of the Shermans. For each of the Victrix packs you get 6 tanks. So I've painted up 2 bags because, well, you can never have too many Shermans, can you? I don't know how many I'm going to need, but I had 2 in my pile of opportunity, so I've painted them up. And they were really simple to put together. They literally clip together. The only thing that I glued was the 50 cal on the turret. Everything else, oh, and I suppose for the guys where I put the crew out, they were obviously stuck in. But other than that, everything else just clips together, and they go together really nicely. I have to say, very impressed with the these vehicles, these tanks. Painted up really simply. So I just undercoated them in black with the black primer, which is unusual for me. I usually use light grey, but I wanted the sort of the shading to come through without having to do any real work on it. I then sort of drag brushed a flat green over the top, just to sort of so I didn't try and get it right down into all the crevices. I just let the vehicle's sort of sculpting do all the work for me, really. Once that was all thoroughly dried, picked out the tracks and the 50 cal with basilicum grey contrast paint. And then once all that was thoroughly dried, a wash of Nuln oil all over, very generously applied. And then I picked out on the back of the tanks, they've got a sort of a shovel and I guess it's I don't know, some other kind of like a mallet, long-handled mallet. So I picked those out with a bit of wood colour for the handles and little sort of silvery grey steel colour for the heads of the shovels and the mallets. And then went over the whole thing with a very, very light dry brush of deck tan, and just again to make all those details on the vehicles just pop. And I'm really pleased with the results, apart from the fact leaving those those decals off the front. The decals that you get with these are really nice. They are you get a number of sort of names for the tanks. You get different size emblems. You get the circular US emblem, identification emblem, or you get the one without the circle, so just the star. I went for the circle because I think it looks cool. I wasn't entirely sure where to position them, but in the end I just thought, well, they'd be positioned all over the place, so that's what I did. Right or wrong. So that's the Shermans done. So next up, these are the half tracks to support those Shermans. Again, it's one bag of the from the 12mm packs that Victrix do. Really pleased with these. Again, pretty easy to put together. You get two variants. You get the one here which has no, just where the machine, the 50 cal stands in the back, and then you get this one. He's in the sort of turret affair. Basically, this, and also if you probably can't quite notice, but they got a different sort of front. So this one, these ones have got a like a coiled. I guess it would have been a winching system on the front. These ones have got more of a roller system. And other than that, they're pretty much the same. And you get both options in the kit. So you could do all 6 one type, or 3 and 3 as I've done it, or any combinations. The crew members, these are all American ones, but also you get British crew members if you wish. So this pack will work if you're doing a later period British army, but obviously since I'm doing Americans, I've just picked the Americans. I've done 3 of each, so 3 with the turrets or sort of cupola arrangement, and 3 more open topped, and you can see inside the crews slightly different. You get 3 in that one, only 2s in that one, so I don't know the difference. I'm not really that much of an expert on vehicles, particularly American vehicles in the Second World War, but these were fun to do. So next up, some M10 tank destroyers for the American forces. Bit more fiddly, these fellas. They weren't quite as easy to put together as the others. The tracks didn't seem to fit quite as neatly as the Sherman ones do, and consequently putting the hull, which is basically this is the hull sits down on top and clips in, but you can just about see it doesn't. I don't know whether you can see. There's a bit of a gap there. Doesn't quite fill it, but it's close enough. And at this scale, I don't think anyone will really notice. Also, they all came with 3 crew members to go in them, and it just looked really crowded with 3, so I just went with 2. I think that works perfectly well. So again, exactly the same process as I did with the Shermans, as I did with the half tracks, just a black matte paint undercoat, and then picked out with the flat green, highlighted washed with Nuln Oil, and then dry brushed with deck tan. The crew, I sprayed them separately with a khaki colour, and then just picked out the helmets and the skin on them, and yeah, dead simple at that scale. Again, you can't really go wrong, and I think the overall effect is pretty good. Quite happy with how they worked out. So I've been working my way through the Grand Manor stuff that I bought, and this is another item. This is a cross for a market square, which I really liked, and I thought it'd just be a nice bit of colour to the thing. It was just very, very simply put together, undercoated, then drag brushed with I think deck tan for the steps, and then a white on the top, washed and then dry brushed again. Dead simple, and hopefully very effective for the tabletop. You had an option, if you wish, to either use the cross or this sort of water butt arrangement, which I thought I'd paint up anyway. I might use it separately on the field. Again, just the same process, but inside I used blue, and then the Vallejo still water over the top, and sort of works okay. So this is a bit different. This is a ruined tower. I bought it a little while ago from an American company called Arcachon, I think they're called. Also, there's a tower which I've done a separate video on, I'll show in a minute, and a few bits and bobs that I bought from him. He's actually closing down. I believe he's been a hobbyist for many years and is closing down the business to retire. And he was selling off a lot of the stuff fairly cheaply, so I picked up a few bits and bobs, and even with the shipping over to the UK, they worked out very reasonably. This was just, it was, I think, just literally called a ruined tower, which I've painted up in the usual technique that I use. The inside of the building is a white. I used a sort of white plastering effect, and just dirtied it up basically. The outside is grey, but then heavily brushed with, sort of drag brushed with white colour. And I just quite like the effect. So don't know how much will be used, but it was only a few pounds, and I thought that would be kind of nice for some of the Silver Bayonet games that I have planned. Also, you know, just general objectives in skirmish games, very useful indeed. I have to lift the camera for this one, so I've done a separate video on this. Link above if I remember to put it in. I think this is called a Norman coastal keep. This again is Arcachon miniatures in America. Lovely model. I've done a separate video on how I painted this up. Really pleased with it. It's a nice little piece. The roof did actually come separately, but since you're not really going to use the inside, because you can't open the doors or windows or anything, I just put it on and glued it down permanently. But yeah, really pleased with the effect of it. I think it comes out very nicely indeed. So there you go. So talking about Silver Bayonets, I realised I had a number of their figures still to be painted up. I've shown in the past some of the French, British and Spanish that I've previously done, but these are figures from Wave 3. No, Wave 4 actually. These are undead Napoleonic figures. I think they're called Revenants or something in the rules. And just great fun to paint. Really enjoyed doing them. This guy is British, a couple of French, I think these two, or there's three are French, and this guy just sort of did, I think he's supposed to be an artilleryman, but I just did him sort of separately, just as a sort of nondescript nation. Great fun to do, really enjoyed. Just something different, you know, just something different sometimes is all you look for. Did them as normal Napoleonics, and then used a couple of different washes on the skin tones, so some of them a bit greeny, some of them a more yellowy, just to make them look seriously undead. Didn't overdo the gore. I was tempted to put a lot more sort of blood and guts on them, but in the end kept it fairly clean because I preferred the effect. But yeah, really pleased with how these fellows came out. So more Silver Bayonet figures. These are bandits, I think these were called. Just painted them up as sort of nondescript, you know, not obvious nation, because bandits shouldn't be. Got the nice muskets. They're North Star miniatures, so I've said before I really like North Star miniatures. I think they have a sort of chunkiness that is a joy to paint. I guess I could use these as Spanish guerrillas in sharp practice games. They wouldn't look out of place with those. So mixed bag, particularly like this dude. Really like this guy in his top hat. Really nice. Anyway, that's them done. So also for Silver Bayonets, these were a couple of figures in Wave 3. Vampires, these two vampires in very sort of classic Edwardian Victorian attire. Again, I just tried to make them look quite sort of evil, but not overdoing the goriness. Like this guy in all his finery and his powdered wig was great fun to do. In the middle, Hobgoblin. I've got a number of these now. The only thing is not much variety in the figure, but he's done and all ready for Silver Bayonets, which I really must have a go at. I'm quite looking forward to it. And so you have to forgive me what these figures are. I have no idea. I thought these were more of the Silver Bayonet figures, but somebody on the Plastic Crack Facebook page was suggesting some of them might not be. This is kind of a Wraith figure with a tombstone, which I put in. This guy is very much a classic Nostradamus type. Is it Nostradamus? Anyway, I don't know. Vampire, old school vampire. I think this is called a plague dog. I don't know. I'm not really into it. And I thought this was another North Star miniature, but somebody pointed out it might be a Foundry figure that I must have picked up free from somewhere, but won't look out of place on the muskets and Silver Bayonets game table, I don't think. So yeah, nice to get these done. And as I say, I've said many times, sometimes it's just nice to do something completely different, and that's what I found with these Silver Bayonets. Really, really good fun indeed. So talking about something completely different, I'm going to get so much stick for these. These are Badgers and Burrows, obviously. I really love... this is my mate Steve on Point HQ's fault that I'm into Badgers and Burrows figures. He was telling me how lovely they were and how much fun they were to paint. And I bought some, and I really agreed with him. They are fantastic figures to paint, really, really lovely models. Just, again, something completely different. Such animation and detail in the sculpts, they make them a joy to paint. And I've just, every so often, I picked out one or two here and there, and I've just, this week, painted up quite a number of them. So these are hares, I think, or maybe rabbits, I'm not quite sure. Sorry. I mean, they're humanized animals, so who knows. This guy did as a white rabbit in black armor, lots of gilt around the edges. This guy, they both got patches. I don't know what they've done to their eyes, but they look mean hombres. This guy has a bit more sort of classic armor on him. Both got some fairly chunky pieces of hardware in their hands to fight it out in Badgers and Burrows. A joy to do. But I didn't stop there. This guy is, I think it's a rat. Look at him, just awesome, with an axe, standing on a rock, because that's what they do, right? I wanted him to be sinister and dark, so I did him in very much sort of earthy colours. He's got the big rug coat on, skinned coat on. I did his armour, mainly sort of leather armour, and then where he had plates of metal, I used sort of washed it out to make it look a bit rusty and dirty. Just love him. Really, really nice, big, chunky figure. And the other end of the scale is a couple of very small, or three very small models. You've got here a couple of mice. And this guy here is a mole. So the mice here is kind of a ranger type figure, I guess, with his sword and shield. The mole has got a blunderbuss and a telescope, and this guy particularly like this little mouse. He's got a lot of armour on him, two-handed axe. I put a transfer on his white surcoat at the back, just to sort of make him a bit special. Beautiful, beautiful figures. Again, thoroughly recommend, even if you're never going to play Badgers and Burrows, just to sort of, if you want a bit of something different to paint, these beautiful figures are awesome to do. Really enjoy doing them. So next up, these are two more Brigade Games figures, 28mm Napoleonics. These are exploring officers, which I bought when I bought those 60th rifles. I think they're supposed to be the same figure, one mounted and one dismounted, but I may well use them separately or may not. But I just thought they'd be quite useful in scenarios, in muskets and tomahawks, or sharp practice. This guy is really nice on his horse, beautiful detail, really nice figure. And this guy's got his map case slung over his back. Perfect for the sort of more characterful games where you want to have something to put in part of the scenario. because you don't really need a figure for an exploring officer in sharp practice, but they are fun to have. And finally, for now, this is another couple of figures. When I was doing that order from Brigade Games, I couldn't resist getting their figure of Sharp and Harper. I've already got a figure for each of them that I made from the War Games Atlantic plastic boxes, but these were just so nice, I just decided to go for them as well. Harper here with his volley gun and his regular musket on it, or regular rifle on his back, and then Sharp with his cleaver in his hand, his French dragoon sword in his shoulder. Lovely figures, great fun to do. Really not sure I need two, but you know, why not have two Sharps, eh? So there you go, that's what I've been working in. I did warn you, it's been an eclectic and varied mixture of figures, because that's what I've been up to. Sometimes it is just fun to do things completely differently. And I'm very pleased with how they've all come out. So hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe, hope your projects are coming together, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.